Hello.
Hey, Costa! Long time no see. It's like we haven't been running beta tests of Land of Eam for multiple days straight.
Yeah, I mean, we just got done.
Session,
I'm pretty exhausted.
Session 3, right? Session 3. So hello, everyone.
Yeah. So
hello.
If you haven't heard, we've released the beta for Land of Eam RPG, and I'm going to send a link right now. You can go there. You can download everything. We got the core rule book. We got character sheets. We got the map.
Core rulebook, character sheets, pre-gen with Costa art. We've got a first adventure. We've got the used to be forest sandbox. What more could you ask for? It's available.
Got
it's
it
free.
all on UHF, and I mean, it's free, so you can't get any better than that. All you have to do is play the game and give us feedback. That's all you got to do.
Feedback's really easy. There's a Discord link that goes directly to our Discord at the bottom of every page. And Ben, why don't you put the link to Drive-Thru RPG? If you're not familiar, Drive-Thru RPG is the largest online RPG seller of digital something or other. The largest RPG download store in the world. In the whole
Hey,
world.
Elijah. He says he's totally DMing this with his little brother and sister. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Love to hear how that goes.
Indeed. Indeed.
George caught the UHF Weird Al reference. Thank you, George.
Appreciate that,
If you weren't
George.
here, there'd be nobody. You know?
That's not true. We love you all. Little shout out to George, though.
Sometimes it's only George, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes it's only George. And George was actually the first person to join the Discord. It's bumping now. We got a bunch of people in the Discord now, but Georgie was the first, and he can claim that for the rest of his days.
We should, figure out how to get some conversations going in the Discord. Anybody have any ideas? Anybody use Discord? Like, what
I
gets
want to see
talking?
people post their characters in the Land of Eam Discord channel. Right under playtest feedback, there is a post your character, and I'm not expecting characters today because we just released it, of course. But I would love to see what people come up with. There is no Dana, only George. That's a Ghostbusters reference.
What are we doing today? You know,
I don't know that we had an agenda other than, I mean, it kind of feels like a breather, first of all, like in a weird way, because we've been running games. Ben specifically, I've been the shadowy partner in the background, coordinating Discords and invites and links and a lot of random technical issues that you can imagine take place during an online Discord. I'm also drinking my lunch, so.
James only eats liquids now.
That's not true at all. Forgot what I was doing. I'm actually drinking my breakfast, but I'm having it for lunch. Because,
That's how I roll over here. You know what I mean?
What if we made a character? Do a walkthrough of how to make a character.
That's a great idea. It's one of my favorite things to do is make characters. It's always a blast, you know what I mean?
So let's get it from the viewers here. What sounds the most interesting out of the classes?
Post on the where they can download it. Where you do the whole highlight thingy majig on. Yeah. That's where you can download all the stuff for free right now.
Yeah, so you can go there. You can get it for free. There will be character sheets in there.
And if you already played it, leave us a review. Let us know what you think. We are excited. It's been a whirlwind.
I guess I'll share my screen.
Share away, El Capitan. Capitan. Oops. McGonagall.
Share screen. All right. So this is the character creation steps. There are
Maybe zoom in a little.
7 steps.
7 steps.
So first, you select your class. Now, you could select your species first, but class makes the most sense because it kind of dictates everything after it. Does anybody here have an idea for what class they would like to see created? We'll go through the classes.
Yeah.
So you got your bard, very
A Rickety Stitch classic.
based on Rickety Stitch. He's charismatic, creative, heals the group. Got the Dungeoneer, who is a daring treasure hunter, has a crew of NPCs. Got a gnome, who is just like Nerman. You know, he's got some magical powers. He knows about nature and animals. The Knight Errant, they got, they're the skilled fighters. They ride a steed. They're also inspiring leaders. The Loyal Chum is based on the Gelatinous Goo, and they're kind of, what would you say, like the support of the group.
Yeah, they're like the encouraging support of the group. Got all kinds of abilities that buff or negate, or what am I?
Reroll.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was trying to say.
And then the Rascal is a rogue, sneaks around, can steal things. Your classic thief character. What would people like to see?
Did you say the gnome already? Am I?
I did.
Oh, sorry. I've got donkey brains. Any preferences from anybody? We'll wait for a comment, and if we see it from one of the channels, then we'll
roll a d6 then.
Yeah, we'll roll a d6. It'll be random. What did you roll, Benjamin?
Roll dice. Roll a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a Knight Errant.
The Knight Errant. That's great, because I was posting a bunch of stuff on the pre-generated Knight Errant today. Now we'll get to create one.
George said, let's see a Dungeoneer. It's a little late, man.
way to scorn is trying to help us. George, you have to roll a charm check for Ben to change it from Knight Errant to Dungeoneer.
Should we go to Dungeoneer?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make a Dungeoneer. A Dungeoneer is classic Land of Eam, classic Rickety Stitch.
I think there's like a big delay with comments, maybe.
Yeah, there is. Oh, yeah, there he goes. He tried to roll it. D12 plus 3.
It works.
It works. Dungeoneer.
All right, we got the Dungeoneer. The Dungeoneer is an enterprising adventure seeker daring to venture into old tombs and abandoned ruins in search of lost things. They're armed with the know-how and the most useful gear available to succeed in the wild. And they're also smart enough to realize that Eam is a dangerous place, so it's best to travel in numbers. They start with an underling.
It's like a sidekick.
Yeah, it's like your sidekick that you can go tell to do stuff. So you can have a brawny underling a sneaky underling or a brainy underling.
Interesting.
It's usually best to like complement your skills with that.
Yeah, so if you are not particularly brainy or brawny, you might want to take the brainy or brawny underling to create that high quality party composition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so maybe we'll hold off on choosing exactly which sort of underling we have. Choose our gear. Can choose maps, get +1 to travel checks, which is useful because that's what you use to traverse the hex map. A metal detector is +20% treasure hunting. So this is good for when you find a hoard and you have a chance to find a magical item. That kind of boosts your chance quite a bit.
That came up actually in several of the games. Actually, the first one, found a magical item, the electric marbles, and used them to do some superb area of effect damage. And then, did in the second game, how did the traveling go with the Dungeoneer? I know that they had a faulty roll and they ended up getting in all kinds of hijinks. But maybe that wasn't the Dungeoneer. It was the Loyal Chum. Never mind. I'm sorry.
You mean this last game?
Yeah, the last one we just played.
They went the wrong direction at first, and then they ran into some Boggle bulwarks who mistook them for criminals.
That's right.
Yeah. George, you're asking, shouldn't that be realms checks? Yes, this is a holdover from when there were multiple skills to travel, so something that should be edited. But that's why it's a beta, okay?
That's why it's yeah. Well, there will be an updated. Actually, if you download the beta on DriveThruRPG for free right now, we can send updates automatically to you, so you can re-download it. It'll have slide updates. That way, there's not like errata documents and stuff like that.
Yes. We'll do that again when we get some feedback, and we process it and make changes.
Yeah, we're already putting together a list of things that we want to update, but cannot wait.
So the next thing you could choose is delving tools, which is at the start of the session, you always have a rope, torch, 10-foot pole, shovel, and pickaxe, and none of it counts against your inventory, which could be pretty useful. So what should we pick? Jimmy?
Asking me, what should we pick? Oh, I don't know. What's something that is unusual? Let's create an unusual Dungeoneer. Atypical, something different. George says he loves treasure hunting. I do too.
Treasure is good. You actually can't measure the pleasure that I get from treasure.
No, you can't. But I would like to hear you say that 10 times fast.
Did we put that in book 2?
Yeah, that became canon. So I don't even fully remember the story, but we used to have an elementary school teacher that spoke like this and talked about treasure and measuring things and pleasure. And so that stuck with us our entire lives. And our own D&D group would constantly say that about treasure. Is there any treasure here? What kind of treasure do we find? And so Ben and I decided to actually put the sentence like, you can't measure the pleasure I get from this treasure, or some combination of it, into one of the Rickety Stitch books.
It's the Boggle Junkmonger.
Yep, Boggle Junkmonger. And makes us laugh because it's got so much stuff, but Random House is just like, ship it. It's great.
So I pulled up the character sheet. And I'm going to fill in some stuff here. So we're taking the metal detector.
Toongrin says, so you pronounce treasure like a pirate. Yes.
Yes.
Treasure.
Aye, says I. The treasure. I'm so pleasured by this treasure. Avast
What
ye.
You know
Got
what
a
just
metal
occurred to me,
detector.
Ben?
Mhm.
Something amazing. We've been working on this Land of Eames sandbox forever, and the free download comes with the used to be forest, but there's 5 other regions that are going to be released in a big bundle. And one of them is a new one, the Scalawag Strand. We don't have that as a homeland in the book.
I actually did add it.
Oh, did you really? Well, then never mind. Then never mind, because I was going to say, what if we made this Dungeoneer pirate themed to go with Toongrin's brilliant?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm down, What's going on here?
Toongrin says, you ever wonder if pirates talk remotely how we all think they sound, or maybe they're being stereotyped pirates? So I actually know about the pirate voice. I know some special knowledge about where that pirate voice. The pirate voice that everybody uses as a pirate came from the old Treasure Island movie with Long John Silver. And it's, says I, avast ye, matey. That's how the actor spoke, and it became such a, I guess, iconic and phenomenally repeatable that that's what we think pirates talk like. And of course, with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies that made pirates like suddenly become like another gigantic. I guess pirates have always been popular. I mean, you think about like all the pirate movies and the Goonies and swashbuckling and stuff, but Pirates of the Caribbean really, helped it resurge as a mainstream
Pirate resurgence.
The name of Ben and I's next band.
All right. So at first level, you get both abilities for the Dungeoneer. The first one is Boggle Crew. And so you can roll Inspire or Intimidate check to boss these little boggles around to do your bidding. So, for instance, you can tell them, hey, go, if there's like a cave in, you can have them move out all the rocks or whatever. Or if there's a traps, you can have them go set off the traps. They're kind of like...
Well, that's brutal.
It is. You'd have to intimidate them to do that, but that's what they're there for. They get paid for it. They signed up for the job.
Hazard pay. They get 1/14 the treasure.
Yeah.
Arbitrarily, it's 1/14. It's just poor terms.
So the next ability is Reconoider, where you can make up a fact or rumor about a place or a group of people at a place. So let's say,
This is a fun creative power. This is one of those powers that we talked about on many live streams where it gives the opportunity for the players to help shape the world that they're in. And that kind of collaboration is just awesome.
Yeah. I agree. All I have to say. So we've got both abilities. You don't have to choose. You just get them. And that sets us up for the class portion. So go back to character steps. Got these handy bookmarks in the PDF. Step number 2, assign modifiers to your attributes. +2, +1, +0, and -1.
Alrighty. What's piratey?
Piratey, like knack. That's a little piratey.
Agree.
Just give him
And
+2.
since Land of Eam is not really a super min-maxy type RPG, tabletop RPG, it's kind of seeped into it. Ben and I like to create like thematic characters that may not be super amazing. They're great at what they do, but they may have some stat or skill flaws that may not be the best, but allow for the...
So our ability requires us to use realms, inspire, or intimidate. So it is good to have like at least like a +1 in this type of stuff, I would say,
Yeah,
for your abilities.
indeed.
So what if we gave this pirate a +1 know-how? +0 vigor and a -1 vim.
Cool. So he's not the most charming, inspiring, or perceptive fellow. But he's nimble, he can find treasure, he's a trickster, and he knows a thing or two about the world around him. Yar!
So now, step 3, assign modifiers to your skills.
There's a handy little chart.
And there's a little chart for how you do that. +2 attribute. Everything is +2 except one of them is +1. So let's get going here.
All right.
So let's say he has a +1 in Tinker, and everything else is +2.
This character is a...
Oops, that was wrong.
It's just about to say there you go. Yep. There you go, on the niche. Also, Toongrin suggests that they have a hook for a hand. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes. Okay. Now for +1, this is where I'll have a +0 in Tinker. Now, for Neck, should they have a +1 in Sneak or something else? Tricky Pirate is probably good at searching for treasure.
I think the pirate should be nimble too, you know? All that swinging on ropes and
Yeah.
being piratey. I think Sneak is a good +1 for a pirate.
Okay. And so +0, everything is +0 except one skill is +1. So what should be our +1? I think Intimidate.
Definitely Intimidate, because I think this should be a Boggle. With a Boggle Crew.
And then I think just because Inspire would be useful. for
Yeah.
him. Give him a +0 Inspire, and then everything else is -1.
Yep.
So that's how you do your skills. And next step is determine your stats. Now your stats are your courage and dread, which are determined by the class. So check out the Dungeoneer. That
And
is
courage. What is that? 13 plus
13
your
plus Vim.
Courage is what your hit points are thematically. Dread is how much dread you inflict on someone else's courage. So it's like damage and hit points. But the Land of Eam is more about defeating your enemies, not killing them. So swinging in on a chandelier and knocking somebody's sword out of their hand is just as dreadful as getting punched in the face.
Yeah. And they have a -1 to Vim, so it reduces their courage, starting courage to 12. He's might be a little bit of a lily liver, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the dread for a Dungeoneer is a D8. That means that with whatever weapon you use, you're going to deal a D8 damage or dread. And vigor is your attack, so it's +0. Defense is the inverse of your knack because it subtracts from an attacker's roll to hit you. Or if you have bad defense, if you're slow-footed, it will add to their attack.
Yeah, so -2 is actually really good defense.
And then there are quest points, which are a meta currency that allow you to increase a roll, so bump it up to a better result, or you can use one of your once per session class abilities again. So it can be quite useful over the course of a session. They refill every session. You get 3 plus your know-how, so that gives 4. All right.
4 quest points. The opportunities. The possibilities.
Now we select our species.
I voted for Boggle. I think George is with me on this.
All right, let's check out the boggles. Boggles are diminutive cousins of goblins. Unfortunately, their lot in life has mainly been to work as peons in servitude of their larger cousins. While forest boggles are extremely tiny, about 3 apples tall. Those are the ones that Rickety Stitch encountered in Grimlywood. PCs can only be the sort who are similar size to imps and gnomes, and those are the type of boggles that stole the treasure in Rickety Stitch Book 2.
Mm-hmm. George suggests that the hench person be a wug.
I like it. That would make him brawny.
Yep.
But it doesn't necessarily have to be brawny. Okay. Skills. So the first thing you do is you pick which bonus and negative you want to give your character. Now, because we're already pretty skillful in knack, this is going to bump us up to +3, which is the max that we can ever get. So we're going to be pretty awesome at either +3 at either nimbleness or sneak. I guess we could bump up everything to +2. Should we go all out nimbleness or bump up sneak to +2?
Let's say all out nimbleness. I'm picturing a
swashbuckler.
A swashbuckler. Yeah. Buckled swash, knife in the teeth. I know there's no chandeliers when you're out at sea, but they got those riggings that you can swing on and all that. Yar. I just want to say yar all day. I can't.
So one thing that I did not update in this beta. Oh, geez. I didn't put the Scalawag strand as available under everyone's homelands.
Yeah, that's what I'd seen. I didn't know that you created it because I was looking at the...
But it's here.
No worries. Errata. You know what I mean? automatically uploaded. You can download it new, and you don't have to have any kind of supplements. Even though George, I think you mentioned earlier, he wants 40 errata documents.
So we're going to pick the Scalawag Strand as the homeland.
Yep.
And then Boggles get a perk. As the runts of the Goblin world, Boggles share a special bond and tend to stick together. When parlaying with a Boggle adversary, a Boggle PC always rolls with advantage.
Classic. George requests that the Wug always hurl the Boggle Swashbuckler into the combat. Like alley-oop. I'm into this. I'm
Like
loving
a
it.
fastball special.
Between that and the Boggle Crew, it'll be like one character's 40 people. You're playing a whole crew. A dungeoneering crew.
Finding treasure on the
Treasure on the high seas.
Boggle. Homeland. Scalawag Strand.
And so for those of you just joining, we are creating an example character for the Land of Eam RPG. The RPG set in the fantastical world of Eam, where Rickety Stitch and the Gelatinous Goo go on their graphic novel adventures.
Here's the link to the beta again.
Yeah, it's down. You can download it for free. It's got a ton of stuff in it. It's got the entire core rulebook, as well as some pre-generated characters, a first quest that you can run with a dungeon, and the entire used to be forest sandbox, which is 1/6 of another big release we're going to do, which is going to be the gigantic Muckland sandbox filled with quest hooks and characters and locations and a ton of GM tools to help you create your own games and make things easy and fast and fun.
So I realized we forgot to give our penalty. So we got to choose either might or metal. Currently, the metal would bring it down to a -2. It'd be kind of a cowardly pirate.
Yeah, I think might makes more sense because even though he's fierce, he's a little guy.
Okay, so there are the final starting skills for this character. And then going back to the steps, select
Step
the
6.
homeland. We did. So now we go to the homeland, see what we get. All right. You grow up on the wild coast called the Scalawag Strand among fishers, sailors, and pirates. You're almost more at home on the open sea than you are on land. So we get to pick 2 of these proficiencies, and proficiencies are like permanent advantages that we have when we're doing actions. So let's say we're fishing or we're sailing a boat. Like any check we would need to make, we would roll twice and take the best result. And then there's treasure lore. Let's take treasure lore. So if you're like identifying an item,
you know a little bit of stuff. And what's cool about these is they don't necessarily need to be presented to you as obstacles. You could suggest using one of these proficiencies to do something. So like, oh, you see like something glittering at the bottom of a lake, you could use fishing to maybe fish it out. Things like that. So it's like little perks that are useful in lots of different situations. Potentially. Treasure lore.
Yeah.
so we got sailing and treasure lore. It's just a pirate right here. we also can record all of this equipment.
Starting equipment.
Hey, James, why don't you roll a D200 for our random mundane item?
All right. Gonna roll it right now. As soon as I bring up my dice roller. D200. 61. I don't know if people on the stream can hear this, but just outside my house, like across the street, there is like a band playing a show in their driveway, and there's like one guy who's just wailing on a guitar. He's just like, it's like hairband wailing. It's kind of amazing.
So we start with a magnet.
A magnet. That's actually quite useful and cool.
It's good for treasure hunting.
I was just thinking that. A magnet. Magnetization.
Got a magnet in our backpack.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Very, very cool. And we also have all of this other stuff.
All the starting gear. Every class has their own starting equipment when they choose their homeland, and it's usually associated with the kinds of equipment that they would need in their homeland. But it's obviously it can be used anywhere and it's super useful. Like a torch to light the way in all dungeoneering scenarios.
$50 feet of rope. Got a knife.
Toongun asks, can it be a large U-shaped magnet like a Looney Tunes cartoon? And I reply, is there any other kind? It clearly must be that. I love it.
So these numbers in parentheses are how much space it takes up in your inventory.
Yeah,
so currently,
that's actually come up a couple times where people thought it was like, I have 2 fishing poles. That's something to think about.
yeah. But what are you going to do? You know, if you read the rule book, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've used up 6 slots, and you kind of have a lot of slots. Oops.
Yeah, there's a lot of items and there's a lot of items and magical items and treasure and stuff. Many of them provide you like additional, one-time abilities, or maybe they have charges and stuff like that. So Ben and I love the idea of, measuring the inventory so that you can pick and choose what you take with you on an adventure. Situational stuff.
Yeah, so you start out with 20 plus your might and vitality. 20 slots plus might and vitality. So what does that give us? -1, so we'll start with 19. Okay.
All right.
We've selected
next?
Homeland, recorded all the equipment, and now the second part is developing your character story. So we've just completed all the crunchy, nitty-gritty stuff for completing a character.
Mildly crunchy.
So, it's not like too intensive. You can get going pretty quick. But there is another step, which is all the story stuff, which is fun in our opinion.
Yes, it is.
So this
Mildly
is the
crunchy, yeah.
second. This is the second piece of the character sheet. Second page. So
I just want to note that I love looking at the Inkpot spider art on this page because it matches so perfectly with creating a character sheet because it looks like they are creating a character sheet.
So part of this works best when you are when you're doing your first session, often called session 0, where you're not actually playing, but you're making characters together and developing who everyone is and how you know each other. But we don't have anybody, so we'll just do it ourselves. So we go to the Dungeoneer, and each class has their own set of questions and stuff. So the Dungeoneer go to their backstory. Can maybe just roll the dice here. I got a 2. So why did you decide to become a Dungeoneer? 2 is, what better way to discover a lost treasure and hit it rich? That's perfect for us.
It is.
Sure beats getting a real job. Just become a pirate.
Take what you need on the high seas. Yar, says I. Should post this character into the Discord under the post your characters section, Ben. I'm also hoping that you'll take an extra few minutes to draw your character. I guess. I guess. I love the little character section on the character sheet, like old school. You get to draw it. I remember like everyone taking time to draw their characters, and occasionally you would draw Darren's for him.
He's like, I don't know how to draw this part.
I can't draw his hand. Like the rest of it's done, but it's just 2 blank spots where the hands go. I can't do the hands.
All right. Should we create allies and rivals?
Yeah, why not? Let's create some allies.
So part of your backstory is that you create an ally and rival from your past. The Dungeoneer suggests a retired adventurer, a former underling, or a junk dealer for the ally, and a rival Dungeoneer, a ferocious creature, or a ruthless tycoon for a rival. So I kind of like for a rival, maybe like a white whale type of situation.
Yeah, I love that. I was going to take advantage of the NPC generator to come up with a name and a little bit of shtick as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of... So the Land of Eam core rulebook has a ton of tables, like dungeon generation tables where we've got riddles and obstacles. Well, one of them is NPCs. It's got like first name, last name. What else does it have, Ben? I'm going to open up right now.
Their job, their species, and like a detail about them.
Yeah, it's like they've got, first name, last name, species, profession with a detail. And the details are like with a handsome hairdo or with a clubbed foot or with shifty eyes. So I'm going to roll a D100. While you're doing this, I'm going to roll a D100 5 times to generate the ally instead of, because I love the idea of it being like the rival being like a white whale or something, like a giant crab wreck.
Crab racks are, as you might guess, crab creatures.
Let's roll 5 D100s. What do we got?
George is suggesting the rival like a well-known pirate. Maybe this crab rack is also a pirate.
That's even better. Way to pile on to make something awesome. I dig it. Nine 17. 99. 917. Margaret. There are so many combinations for NPCs. It's stunning.
So, Red Claw the crab rack pirate. What is his shtick, George? By the way, these rivals and allies are just kind of ways for the GM to bring character story into the game. For instance, like today we were playing a play test for Gen Con. We had a game, like a 3-hour game actually earlier today. And one of the random encounters was a bunch of bogrels who came, bogrel bulwarks who were kind of like the law enforcement in the area, and they were accusing the group of being criminals because they had received a tip from one of the characters' rivals who was upset because that character owed them money. So it was kind of payback.
It's a fun way to have the characters create allies and foils for themselves.
Red Claw, son of Blue Claw, brother to Purple Claw.
He's the least well-known member of the Claw family. I love it.
So I guess we've got this whole like Claw family after our character.
Our Boggle Pirate with Wug Sidekick and Boggle Crew is rivaled with a giant red claw crab rack who is a pirate from a long family of pirates. Treasure hunting rivals. Look at that. You got a whole campaign right there. I would play the heck out of this. Adventure, intrigue in the Scalawag Strand.
So what did you roll, James?
I rolled a Nance Knock, and she is a Boggart Beastmaster.
Nance Knock.
George also adds, since time immemorial, he has sailed the salty sea, plumbing the briny depths for the pearl of Boggle sight. Treasure lore. Way to win treasure lore.
Is that the personal quest, or is this still Red Claw?
I think it's a personal quest. If it isn't, it's a great one.
What should the Beastmaster's deal be?
Good question.
Buttered
That's not
Beastmaster who...
Scalawag Strand. Maybe
Kraken Wrangler.
You actually summoned the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say, well, maybe there's like a Kraken that she's trying to wrangle. And he's out there on the high seas. You know, he's got his crew, dungeoneering, treasure lore, Boggle Sight. Using the Pearl of Boggle Sight, our Boggle Pirate would be able to find the Kraken that she can wrangle. A Kraken that's been, terrorizing the Scalawag Strand for 100 years.
All right. So now we've got our ideals and flaws that we have to choose. When you pick an ideal, it's something that sort of like compels your character, something. It's like their innate personality trait, or like what a belief, or kind of what drives them, or virtue.
And it's significant for a couple of reasons. One, you gain experience by pursuing it. And two, it actually creates a more fun, interesting game where things can go right and wrong more often in a creative way.
Yeah, especially with the flaws, because that's like something that usually
flaws
will get you into trouble.
Right. And flaws are really fun. I love the flaws.
So going with the treasure theme, because that's like seems to be the deal here. Find a relic or treasure.
Boggle Sight. We got a pearl, man. Yar.
And then our flaw will be something. Throw caution to the wind, let greed get the better of me, follow my curiosity at any expense, make a rival out of someone, drastically overestimate my abilities, refuse to follow orders. Shall we stick with the greed treasure? Oh, sorry. No, we're just going to leave it up there forever, George. We're going to leave your comment. Let greed get the better of me. Makes sense?
Yeah.
And our personal quest is to sail the salty sea, plumb the briny depths for the pearl of Boggle Sight.
Hey, Nate. We got
it's my brother.
A double hoops in the house.
It's my brother. Hey, bro.
Plumb the briny depths for the pearl of Boggle Sight.
So what's the deal with that? Who or what is standing in our way to accomplish this? Is it going to be our rival?
I think Red Claw.
How about his entire family?
The Red Claw clan.
Or the Claw clan?
The Claw clan. That's right, because they'll have different colored claws. The Claw clan, says I. Yarr.
Awesome. So the last thing that we would do is establish all these relationships with our fellow players, but we don't have any because we're just making one character. But some examples, if you were to do this, some examples that the Dungeoneer has, which are all different than the other classes. Even though we're often at odds, I actually really admire Blank. Blank thinks they're the leader of the group, but it's obviously me. I would risk my neck to save Blank from any danger, and I expect the same in return. So you go through and you establish a relationship with each other player's character. And yeah. So I guess I should just draw this character now. And we have to come up with a name too.
Should we use the generator again? Should we take advantage of this powerful GM tool?
Sure.
I'm just going to roll 2 D100s for the first columns. All right.
Most powerful tool.
So, all right. His name is Jusper. Jusper. Plasterpot. Remember, don't forget, Toongrin did request a hooked hand.
That's true. That is true.
Drawing a Boggle.
Hey, Mary Jane. Hey, Joey.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Can one of the Claw clan be Poop Claw, please? It's canon.
Or
It's
Dew
canon. Or Chloe Claw. I think Chloe Claw is the winner.
I like Doo-Doo Claw as well. Because we are 6. Look at that Boggle guy there. Look at him over there. Just replaced the pot over there. Arch nemesis of the Claw clan. So many random tables in this book. 50 curses. I wonder how many permutations are actually possible in the NPC generator. 5 columns of 100. Like, that's a staggering amount.
Someone do the math on that.
Yeah, someone who's a lot smarter than me. Do the math on that. There's got to be like a permutation calculator. Permutations wise, there's 9 billion, but combinations wise, there's 75 million. You heard it here first, folks. There's so many combinations that are possible in our NPC generator that you could make 75 million NPCs. Oh, George was right when he said a Brazilian. Oh man, I love the Boggle Pirate. Look at that. He's got a little bit of scruff on him. He looks a little crazy. He's going to find that Pearl of Boggle's side, I'll tell you that.
One day, he will find it.
After a 5-year campaign, 200 dungeons,
14,000 hours played.
22 million different travel checks made. Some perilous, some discoveries. $75 million combinations are possible.
Start rolling him up, dude. I want to hear them all.
Take it easy, Nate. Thanks for joining us. I will follow up with Benner to make sure he gives you a picture of Clay Claw.
See ya, bro.
Yar! Avast ye scurvy dogs, says I to ye.
Says ye. You know what we didn't do? We didn't actually create the underling.
Oh, wow, you're right. I'm gonna roll for the underling's name. Just first name or is it double name?
Double name.
Double name. What does it mean?
All the way.
Scuff Krug. It's perfect. Scuff Krug the Wug. That is perfect. Classic. Scruff Krug the Wug.
Is it scuff or scruff?
Well, I wrote Scruff, and I've lost my place in this magnificently huge chart. Let's say Scruff.
Krug.
The Wug.
So we doing vigor?
Let's do Vigor, yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense for this character to get a little extra brawniness. Okay, it's tough on the high seas, navigating, pulling those heavy-ass ropes. Scruff the Krug, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
So much useless knowledge stuck in our brains.
Yeah, it's like endless these jingles. 80s jingles.
That one takes the cake, though. Like
Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652 or whatever.
like remembering an address. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Scruff McGruff, the crime watchdog.
does anybody remember that?
Scruff McGruff, 60652, Chicago, Illinois. It's like a commercial. I mean, it's up there for me, like for like at least local television. It's up there as like Smokey the Bear, like only you can prevent forest fires. George says, yeah, definitely. Look at you. Final details.
Good old Jasper.
Jasper. He takes no guff. All right, is that it?
Geez. Well, all I have to do is write Jasper again. Yar. Yeah, I think that's it. That is it. We have created our character, Jasper Plasterpot. He somehow got muted.
Oh my gosh, I was talking. I was going to say we will post this character to the Discord. Under
Yes.
post your character. Be awesome.
Feel free to use that. Use Jasper in your own game. Cool.
Yeah, over the course
Cool
of 5
tools
years,
rule.
we'll make a library of 100 characters that you can use.
Thanks everybody for
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on the live stream today. Happy Gen Con for those of you that are exploring the online worlds of Gen Con, which seem to be bumping at the moment. All of our groups have been full, and we're doing one more beta test tomorrow. Yeah. You can check out the
the link again to download the beta bundle, which is like over 250 pages of free stuff to get your game off the ground. You can run an entire campaign with this material. Know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And if you
Code.
download the book, it's got the Discord link, and we'll post the Discord links and all the other links in the description of this video. In the next 24 hours. Cool. All right. Take it easy, everybody. Fare thee well. Happy weekend.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Toon Grin. Thank you, Elijah. Everyone who showed up.
Nate
See you next
Costa.
time.
Thank you, Bro Costa.
Yes, my brother. All right. Peace out.
Farewell.